Good evening, Papua New Guinea. I am happy to come to you wherever you are in this lovely country. Today, a few days into my ascension into the office of Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea, I am humbled by the kind gesture, 101 members of Parliament, and the balance of the members of the Parliament who gave their support to me in person and in principle and in morality. I am so blessed by the kind gesture. My ascension into office is not something I planned, but it's something that has taken place, and I am willing to serve in the office of Prime Minister. It is a big call. As I took office and I started to look into where we are as a nation, I realized the challenges before us are so big, so huge, and it will require the effort of everyone, starting from members of Parliament, as well as all public servants and every citizen, as well as our corporate citizens in this country, to rally together and to make a great effort to ensure PNG become truly prosperous. We are a nation of many opportunities. Our nation is so endowed with many, many blessings. Our natural resource put together is the envy of many, many other nations of the world. We have natural assets that not too many countries, globally speaking, can profess to have. We have oil, gold, gas, nickel, copper, all the agricultural products put together. We have timber, we have fisheries. In fisheries alone, 25% of world tuna stock is supplied from catches in our waters. These are resources many nations of the world do not have. And I ascend into office knowing the potentials and the propensity of our nation to do better. We have come 44 years since independence in 1975. At this juncture, I pay my homage to my predecessors, the 7 other prime ministers before me. They've done their best for the nation. It is now my time. It is now the time of leaders who belong to my generation, leaders who share Parliament with me, and I am comforted to know 28 members of Parliament stood with me in the last 50 days to make this event possible. These 28 members of Parliament were the basis in which I launched out to ensure the change took place. What took place in the last 50 days since I resigned as Minister of Finance in the Hon-led government was nothing personal. What we did crossed ethnicity, crossed religion, crossed political party boundaries. What we did was a generational shift for the better of our country. Our country is a nation so blessed, as I said earlier. We believe we can do better. And having speaking on this in the last few instances, I'm not speaking about chasing our investors. I'm speaking about doing better for our country. The challenges as a nation in the education space remain so big. In the last 7 years, we put in more than 1.5 million children into our school system as a result of free education. But with free education, we must speak about quality of those kids who are in school. Talking about giving health care to 8 million citizens of this country, we must not just talk about basic health care, but specialist health care, basic health care that also entails quality aspect to it. When a mother goes to hospital, she must know there's a doctor waiting to save her. When a child goes to hospital, there must be medicine available for her. And as I speak, I know challenges in those sectors remain big. Our infrastructures are very, very bad and run down. We have great work ahead of us, and I am speaking to the nation. The expectations of the nation is so big. For your elected leaders, starting with myself as your Prime Minister, and many, many members of Parliament who share similar views to me are encouraged. And we've been speaking in our conversations in private and in the party caucuses and in government caucuses to ensure that we rise up to the challenge before us. And today, as I speak to you, let me assure each and every one of us, whilst we may not come to you and give you the magic answer to all the needs in your life right away, we are starting to put in place the structure of government, the nuts and bolts to ensure what was lost along the way is restored. We are in the business of reconstructing a country for the better. Our country needs urgent intervention in the space of the economic sector, in the space of social sector, and so I am approaching it in a two-pronged approach, growing the economy on one side, as well as ensuring that the structure of government service delivery is reformed, rehabilitated, reconstructed to make it better for us. One of the first instances or activities I will be undertaking on your behalf is to ensure that we look into the revenue space. And let me encourage every businessman and businesswoman, from the top businesses in our country to the lowest ranked SMEs in our country. I have special interest in how you are conducting your business. I will be ensuring that the environment in which you do business is safe, secure, and sound, so that you can grow in your businesses and ensure that you pay your fair share of tax to us as a government. This is one area I'll be looking very closely, and in the next few days I will be announcing my cabinet lineup, and you will see the cabinet lineup will have men who will respond to the call of duty, and there'll be clear division in the cabinet. Our Deputy Prime Minister, who will manage the affairs of internal security, our Deputy Prime Minister, who will look after our social service sectors, and myself as Prime Minister and the economic sector ministers will be concentrating in areas of ensuring that the economy grows, and into areas where we will be looking at making sure that we build from where we are today. And certain areas that I'll be especially paying my interest on is looking to ensure the oil and gas sector is beneficial to our country as well as our investors. We'll be looking at the mining sector to ensure that our gains from the mining sector is growing, as well as the fisheries sector. I'll be looking at our resource sector in a very, very big way. I do not intend to harm our investors. Genuine investors in our country are very, very much welcomed. They have been with us for a long, long time, and without them we will not be where we are as a nation. But I've been speaking very, very strongly to gain more. We can gain more for our country as I speak. The lowest hanging fruits within provisions of law must be picked in as far as resource harvest is concerned. And talking about resource does not only mean in the oil and gas sector or in the mining sector. Our resource envelope expands to the forestry sector, the fisheries sector, the agricultural space, the tourism and hospitality industry space. We are a nation blessed with many, many natural resources, and we will be expanding our horizon beyond traditional revenue base and revenue source for our nation, and looking beyond what we have today into the potentials and fullest potentials of our country. So I will be dividing cabinet into two major lines and two divisions. One is the economic sector, of which I will concentrate as Prime Minister to work with whoever will be our Treasurer and Planning Minister and the economic sector ministries. And I will allow whoever becomes Deputy Prime Minister to manage the affairs of our internal security in the space of law and justice sector, making it come to full work in as far as effectiveness is concerned, making sure our courthouse are functional, making sure our police is functional and resourced, making sure our schools are functional, making sure our health services are functional and delivering to expectation to our people. So I will be structuring government in a manner in which Deputy Prime Minister is responsible for the social services, the sector in the domestic sector in country, and myself as Prime Minister will be really presiding over the economic sector space to ensure we grow economy. Our intention is simple. We want to make our country a better, safe place where everyone feels safe and secure, where citizens of this country have equal opportunities in education, equal opportunities in health, equal opportunities in participating in business. And talking about business, I am very, very interested about putting in place some incentives. A tax regime that is incentive-based, giving tax concession that is geared towards stimulating economic growth, giving loan subsidies to businessmen and businesswomen who are currently struggling. As I speak, I know there are many, many Papua New Guineans who are in business. They are doing business, but mortgages are so huge. It pains me every time to see Papua New Guinean assets being repossessed by banks. So my government in the 2020 budget will have a facility to assist Papua New Guinean SMEs and businessmen who are presently paying taxes, who are presently employing other Papua New Guineans, who are presently trying to reinvest back into our country. We will put a special economic rescue package for them that is tailored to ensure that they clean up their books, refinance their loans, and ensure that they go the next mile in as far as business is concerned. So our government is investor friendly. Our government is business friendly. We will be growing the economy on one side, as well as making the social sector become safe, secure. Our children are going to school. Our health services are being served. Our law and justice sector is being worked on. And as I speak on the law and justice sector, one of the first businesses that I will attend to, and in the earliest, is ensuring that the Independent Commission Against Corruption bill is brought into Parliament so that we have that introduced to save our nation from voices that are happening through corruption, nepotism, one-talk system, and many of the wasted opportunities that we've seen in the past. Speaking on corruption and many of these issues that every one of us have every right to talk about, I will not be hiding anyone behind my government. Every one of us, leaders included, stand facing rule of law in our country. What has happened in the past will not be hidden by my government. And if I ask any one of you, if you have corruption issues and you talk about corruption issue, the rule of law applies to everyone. If you have evidence of corruption by any one of us, from the highest down the rank and file, I ask you all, just don't talk about corruption. Bring the evidences out. My business is to ensure that police is functional and courthouses are functional, so that issues that relate to corruption are dealt with expeditiously and correctly, so that our society can be free of systematic abuse through corruption, as many of us believe has happened in the past. But as I look forward into the future, I am hopeful, I am optimistic. I am committed to the cause. I have behind me many, many strong, sincere politicians. Amongst them are the 28 members of parliament who stood with me. I think about the time we spent in Laguna. Many of them cried in front of me. Many of them cried with me. They cried not for themselves, but for the betterment of our country. And I'm motivated by that sort of commitment leaders have shown. They stood the test of time. They were offered money. They were offered jobs. But they resolved to remain to the change that we want to see for our country. And we're trying to make this change, and I appeal to citizens across this country. The least you can do is ensuring that you respect your children, you respect girls amongst us, you respect women amongst us, you respect the society by living peacefully, respecting each other despite our ethnic differences, despite our political differences, despite our religious differences. Let's all live together peacefully and in harmony. If our citizens can give a peaceful law and order environment to our country, I give you my commitment. We will ensure that we make necessary changes, systematic changes, change in the way our resources are harvested, change in the way we expend our public funds, changes in the way we deliver to you in key social sectors, in education and health, and in the infrastructure. We will shift away now from Port Moresby-based spending. The country is bigger than just Port Moresby. Whilst Port Moresby will remain and receive our support, we will shift away from Port Moresby to the rest of the country to ensure that the rest of the country is also growing. When I look at the rest of the country, I do not see political boundaries. I see economic potentials. And we will talk about autonomy in a clearer way, for instance. Regions of our country must be economic regions. If you're a maritime province, you must be an economic region in that space. If you're a province that is known for agriculture, you must be an agricultural-based economy. If you're a province that is known for potential in tourism, you must be an economy that is based out of tourism income. And so we have a tailored mix of a program and policies that we want to bring to our country, but 2 years is not long enough to fully deliver. I don't beg for more time. I look forward to spending the next 2 years structuring a government structure that is able to deliver to its expectations and to the people's expectations. So talking about structure, I will conclude by making my appeal to public servants right across the country. Every fortnight, we consume 160 million kina as pay that is paid by the state of Papua New Guinea. Now, I ask every Papua New Guinean citizens to support your public servants. But for the public servants, I ask you to lift your game in as far as service delivery is concerned. From wherever you are placed, many of you are good men and women. You've served your country faithfully. But equally speaking, many are still lagging behind and not contributing fully to the work that is expected of us. Prime Minister alone cannot do it. Every public servant together in politics and in the public service must join hands to deliver to the expectations of our people. And I make this call at this juncture. I will be looking very, very hard. Today I summoned a few public servants into my office, especially the head, and I asked them simple questions. You tell me how you can contribute to making Papua New Guinea the richest black Christian nation on planet Earth. You tell me how you can contribute and you still in employment with the state of Papua New Guinea. And so I will be making some hard decisions in the next few weeks, few months, few years. But hopefully when my time is up, I would have started a journey that leaves PNG a better place than what I am inheriting right now. I ask every one of you, let's all join together, work together. This is not my last conversation with you. My next conversation will be all about our state of economy. As I speak on the state of economy, you will realize where we are. As I speak about the state of economy, you will realize the need for greater incursion into how we harvest our natural resources. And when I'm speaking on natural resources, many of our corporate citizens amidst us will feel a little bit doubtful, will feel a little bit intimidated, will feel a little bit insecure, but you must not feel that way. When Papua New Guinea is safe, when Papua New Guinea is secure economically, when Papua New Guinea is robust and growing, your business address in our country will make profit for you and your shareholders. For business citizens in our country, our corporate citizens in our country, in all our resource sector, you need PNG to be strong, stable, prosperous, and wealthy. And that is why I am in the business of making huge decisions in as far as resource laws are concerned, but we will do it very slowly. I'm looking at 2025 in which we will migrate to a new legislative framework. Whatever changes we intend to do in the next 1 or 2 years will be prospective. It will not be immediately come into effective. We'll push implementation into a few years down the line, possibly 2025 as I'm indicating. The nation will celebrate 50 years of independence in 2025. The country must enjoy benefit from its natural resources. I am looking at expanding my horizon into regimes in Malaysia, for instance, Indonesia, for instance. They have resource law, and I will be also looking closely into similar economies around us as to how they deal with their resources. And we will have a tailored mix of resource laws we feel is friendly for us, can improve on us, at the same time ensure investors who are part of us are not intimidated as far as gaining for the shareholders are concerned. So all these things are done in the view that we must grow our economy to ensure our people receive better services they fully deserve. And this is something that I will bring to the forefront to undertake. But in the meantime, I ask every citizen of this country, you cause one loan or a problem out there, government will spend money that is meant for schools and education and infrastructure in getting police to address those loan order issues. And I appeal for everyone right across the country. And first appeal goes to my own Hela province and to the region that I am part of. I appeal that you respect every citizens of this country, you respect law and order, and hopefully together every one of us can make this country a better place. Enjoy your state of origin tonight. I will not tell you which team I support. I support Team PNG. Good night.